Do you think I make good choices? I asked, nervously smoothing back my shoulder-length brown hair, today worn in a neat ponytail. I mean, not everyone likes peanut butter. Or at least not peanut butter as an ice cream flavor. And just because we all think the ice cream cupcakes are the cutest thing since puppies, with their different colored sprinkles and their pastel-colored papers, people go crazy for the mini cupcakes, Emma insisted. Everybody from the Chamber of Commerce loved them. And that day at the shop when you handed them out as freebies so people could try some of the more exotic flavors, everyone was over the moon about them. The entire concept is pure genius. Emma's right, Willow seconded. It's impossible not to like the ice cream cupcakes. I'm definitely hoping for leftovers on those, Ethan exclaimed. Those dudes are totally chill. And the hot fudge? I couldn't resist adding, even though I knew I was bordering on being truly annoying. Do you think they'll like it? This is a pretty sophisticated crowd, after all. They're used to the very best. Kate, Emma replied, with remarkable patience. Your homemade heavenly hot fudge sauce is the best in the entire universe. It's what put your Hudson's hottest hot fudge sundae on the map. I let out a long, appreciative sigh. My crew. Perhaps not the most professional, at least in terms of training or even appearance. Willow Baines, for example, was about as far away from an ice cream entrepreneur as you can get. She was a yoga instructor, the owner of the Heart, Mind, and Soul yoga studio a few blocks away from Lickety Splits. She also held classes in meditation and relaxation. She even looked the part. Willow had pale blonde hair she wore in a cute pixie cut, the perfect complement to her tall, slender frame. And the tailored outfit she was wearing today was completely out of character for her, since she usually wore loose, comfortable clothes. The woman owned an entire wardrobe of yoga pants. Willow didn't just teach others how to be calm and centered. She was those things herself. I found that pretty impressive, given her rocky childhood. She had grown up with a drug-addicted mother and two brothers who took off as soon as they could. The instability of her early years had instilled in her a strong need to create order in her life, something I'd picked up on when I first met her back in middle school. Her personal struggle to find balance had made her one of the kindest, most generous people I'd ever met. For example, she was big-hearted enough to spend her Saturday night helping out her BFF as a favor. And while she was committed to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, there were two exceptions: coffee and, fortunately, ice cream. My niece, Emma, a computer whiz and a talented artist, was one of the most creative people I'd ever met, a personality trait that was reflected in the blue streaks she'd incorporated into her wild, curly black hair. At the beginning of the summer, she'd run away from her home in the Washington, D.C. area and appeared on my doorstep, literally. She announced that she didn't want to rush off to college in the fall, as expected by her parents, my oldest sister, Julie, and her husband, Ron. Instead, she wanted to take some time off to decide exactly what direction she wanted her life to go in. She felt that living with Grams and me would provide her with the perfect way to do that. She had instantly turned into my right-hand person, helping me run Lickety Splits and doing a first-rate job thanks to her quickness to learn, her organizational skills, and her strong sense of responsibility. As for Ethan, I knew nothing about him, except that he worked at a local organic dairy that was one of my suppliers, and that he generally dressed completely in black, no matter how hot the summer day was. His latest thing was carrying around a tattered paperback, usually one of the classic novels devoured by young men who are on a quest to find themselves. Last week it had been Jack Kerouac's On the Road. This week it was Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov. Frankly, I had yet to figure out why he'd become an object of affection for my otherwise reasonable niece, since his level of conversation was generally as far away from Kerouac and Dostoevsky as you can get. In fact, I didn't think it was even possible to translate the primary words that constituted his vocabulary, awesome, dope, chill, and dude, into Russian. But what my crew lacked in professional deportment and experience in the world of ice cream, they more than made up for in enthusiasm, energy, creativity, and general cheerleading abilities when it came to spurring me on. They also looked pretty...